Here we're going to take a look at dative bonding. We've got a definition of what a dative bond is there. A dative bond forms when the pair of electrons in the covalent bond come from the same atom. Now, the criteria for a dative bond to form is that we must have a species. A species meaning it could be a molecule or a molecular ion, or even a simple ion. A species with a lone pair. And we also need a species with a vacant orbital, or really we could also say an incomplete full outer shell. Now, one of the simplest examples to show the formation of a dative bond is the reaction between ammonia and a hydrogen ion. And they react to produce an ammonium ion. So what we've got in ammonia, we've got our species with a lone pair. And my hydrogen ion obviously is got no electrons, so has got an incomplete full outer shell. It can, in effect, gain 2 more electrons, and what it's going to do is going to share these 2 electrons to get the full outer shell. So what we're going to say is that the 2 electrons in, or this lone pair of electrons on the nitrogen is going to be used to form this dative bond with this hydrogen ion. So the result of this would be as follows. And we show the dative bond and how that it's different to, it's been formed in a different way to the normal covalent bonds by an arrow. And the arrow points from the species, or from the atom, sorry, giving the pair of electrons. So they go from the N to the H. And what we usually do then is we put a square bracket around this as well to show that we've got an ion. So that's my ammonium ion. Just to mention that the covalent bond here, this dative bond, is indistinguishable from these other 3 covalent bonds. They're exactly the same bond length, bond strength, and so on. They are indistinguishable. Now, another example of how we can form dative bonds is the reaction between beryllium chloride, BeCl2, and 2 chloride ions. And the reaction here produces BeCl4 2-. Now, beryllium's a group 2 metal. But actually, beryllium forms covalent compounds. But we can see that this covalent compound has got it's got vacant orbitals, so it can gain some electrons. Okay, usually when we've looked at in GCSE forming molecules like water, ammonia, methane, that all the atoms have got full outer shells. Well, this beryllium has not got a full outer shell. It's only feeling 4 electrons, so it could in essence feel 4 more electrons. And that's what's going to happen here. So what we have then is this beryllium, this BeCl2, is going to react with these 2 chloride ions, and these chloride ions have got 1, 2, 3, 4 lone pairs. So what's going to happen is that these 2 chloride ions are going to react, and they're going to donate 1 each of their lone pairs. So they're going to donate 1 of these lone pairs to the BeCl2. And what we get then is the following. So we've still got my normal covalent bonds being formed the usual way, and now we're going to have these dative bonds being formed here. So the chloride ions have donated one of their lone pairs to the BeCl2, and again, it's good practice usually to put a 2- charge on the outside of this bracket. Now, we've said what a dative bond actually is, but in an exam, they normally want you to explain how it's formed. We've got an exam question here where it says a H2F plus ion is formed when a hydrogen fluoride gains a proton, as shown in the equation. Now, it's not shown, but this HF, the fluorine here has got 3 lone pairs of electrons. And because it's got this lone pair, and we've got a hydrogen ion here which has got an incomplete full outer shell, we've got the potential then for, when it says the type of bond, we're going to say a dative bond. And when we're asked for this explanation, we really should be saying what is donating the lone pair and what it's donating the lone pair to. So an explanation for this would be, is the lone pair on the fluorine in HF? Because we can see it's the lone pair here on the fluorine in HF is used to form a dative bond. And then what's it form this dative bond with? Dative bond with the hydrogen ion. That there would be how you'd answer that question. So when we've got a question about explaining how a dative bond is formed, we really should be saying what is donating the lone pair. So the lone pair on the fluorine in HF is used to form a dative bond with the hydrogen ion. And that there is dative bonding.